Welcome everybody to the Hardwood Hoops Hangout number 10. I'm Pete Toll and I've got my man Matt, aka Meek Mill 1981, and we've got a special guest this week. We've got my man Byron. Byron, I want you to roll right in and just let the viewers know a little bit about yourself.
My name is Byron Ram from Houston, Texas. Now I live in Los Angeles, California. Songwriter, beat maker, actor. I try to do it all. I'm happy to be here.
Good, man. Glad to have you. We're gonna roll right into Batman versus Superman. And Byron, since you're the newbie, I'm gonna let you kind of give your thoughts on the movie. What do you think?
Okay. Well, before we get into it, let me say two quick things. I want to say hi to my brother Aaron. He's gonna watch this. He's probably watching right now. And rest in peace to 5,000 from the Tribe Called Quest. Going right into it. Batman versus Superman. A long movie. I actually dozed off. I nodded off like 3, 4 times. I was like in the theater, like doing one of those. But
Oh man, you hit us with the Sam I am.
Yeah, he got us the touch
Oh,
and go. He did the touch and go.
yeah, but I was like, yo, wake up, B, wake up, Brad. Like, you got to do this show, and I wanted to just be alert, and I didn't want to really miss anything, but I fought through it, and what I will say is this, without spoiling the film, is you ever have that one friend that tells you a story, and he goes the long route. He's like, yeah, I went to the park, I went to the mall, I went to the grocery store, I bought 2 dozen eggs and some bread and some sugar, And then then when he finally gets to where he's going, he's like, and then we went to the zoo. It's like, really, bro? Like, you had to tell me about all the eggs and the bacon you bought for. That's what the movie felt like to me. Now, with that being said, I can't say that it was like horrible because the reviews were so bad that I kind of went in thinking like, all right, like yo, I was just trying to find any little thing to nitpick at it, and I was trying to hate the movie, but truth be told, I didn't hate it because once the action kicks in, it's like, okay, I see what they're doing. It's like they're setting it up for the sequels, and so I can't say I was disappointed. I saw it in 3D. It was pretty long. Not as much action as I would have liked, but when it really gets going, and then but there's a lot of like unanswered questions. Just how did this happen? How did they get there? Some surprises, some cameos, and things like that. I wasn't really expecting, but I see what they're doing. They're setting up the story. We take movies and we're like, oh, this film was so great, but really a lot of times the sequel is better. And the first movie is just setting up like X-Men. The first X-Men movie, we've been waiting for X-Men movie for so long. It came out in 2000, and as once we got into the new millennium, and once we got out of the 90s, we had more technology to do like better special effects. Because what I always tell Matt is that in the 90s we had great storylines, but like poor effects, and they couldn't do the things that they're able to do now. With the exception of maybe like Terminator 2, that movie was like, but that's James Cameron. He was way ahead.
And Star Wars, the first Star Wars.
And Star Wars was, but see, even with Star Wars, it was like the first one of the not the prequels, but the original one. Yeah, it was good because it showed people things they hadn't seen in that time frame. The massive spaceships, and I think the Death Star and all of these things, it had never been done before. But The Empire Strikes Back is a way better movie, and I think that's what's gonna happen with what I felt when I was watching the movie and when I left. I was like, yo, they're trying to give Marvel a run for their money. They see Marvel getting all of this money and just with the big fan base that it has, and they're trying to compete with that, and they're setting it up. So they're kind of following that Marvel comic movie universe, and you see that they're setting up kind of like the Avengers. It looks like they're setting up multiple films and going to bring it all into one. And I think initially when we heard about this movie, everybody was upset that Ben Affleck was playing that part because people say things, oh, the only movie he was ever good in was Good Will Hunting, and he wrote it, and he gets a lot of, and I think people don't like Ben Affleck because of like, tabloid stuff, him and his relationship with Jennifer Lopez, and stuff like that. We didn't really give him a fair shot, myself included, but I want to say that he did an excellent job. Like, I forgot it was Ben Affleck. He did a wonderful job in this movie, I think. Wonder Woman was super hot. Always one of my favorites growing up to watch. The old one when she would just run out the building and spin around, and she'd be in the suit, she'd be in regular clothes, and she'd spin around. All of a sudden, it's like Wonder Woman. She's always been a favorite of mine. I like how they did her character. She didn't disappoint. Matt?
All right. Oh, now you're ready for me. First, let me say this, a couple things. The first thing is probably not going to shock Byron. I love the movie. However, I can understand why some people did not like it. Like, and this isn't really a spoiler at all, but like, there are people who've said it's a Batman movie, it's a Superman movie, it's a Justice League movie. You got the side stuff with Lois Lane, and you got the Justice League stuff. And so, but that didn't really bother me at all. I'll say, that kind of stuff doesn't really, I followed it pretty well. I enjoyed all the Easter eggs, the cameos, and I totally agree with Byron on Ben Affleck. That dude, and I know a lot of people have said it, and I'm with it on this one. It's the best on-screen Batman we've had. Like, not only did he kill the role as Bruce Wayne, he actually, like he said, you don't see Ben Affleck. You see Bruce Wayne on the screen, and we've all seen the trailer where he's running in during the attack in Metropolis with Superman and Zod. It's all in the trailer where he's running into that's Bruce Wayne. That's Batman. He's just running into it. He's not afraid. He's just going into it. And then I agree. Wonder Woman was fantastic. I want to touch on Lex Luthor because I know he's received a lot of criticism. And Byron, you can jump in after I mentioned Lex Luthor. I see why people did not like his character, the little menacing. I understand why people thought he was annoying, but I think when you see the movie, I think Byron will agree, the dude was ruthless. Like, he really was an evil guy, even though he comes across as some annoying little twit. Like, but if I'm not mistaken, he mentions his father a lot in the movie, so obvious, and it's LexCorp, so obviously, and I've read things, and you might have seen it, where he's actually Lex Luthor Jr. So, but I see where they're trying to take. They're trying to, the take they're trying to do on the character, going with a younger version, more like updating Lex Luthor for the new era. This is not Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. Hell, this isn't even Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor. It is a brand new Lex Luthor, but for what they're trying to do with him, I thought Jesse Eisenberg actually killed the role. He did good for what they were going for. But I do, I get the whole why people don't like him, because they like that, like I was watching these guys that actually Shoe Collector told me to watch Superhero News. It's 3 guys, big comic book fans, and they even said they understood but they like the Lex Luthor, the Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor they kind of mentioned, where he's very charming, like he'll tell you what he wants, and you're just behind it. Like with this Lex Luthor, he was just, you've seen the trailers. That's pretty much how he is in the movie. He kind of, I want to say, I know a lot of people compare him to Heath Ledger's Joker, just kind of the twisted psychopath. But I would say he's kind of a cross between the Heath Ledger Joker and the Jim Carrey Riddler. That's kind of what I got from him, a little bit, just where they were going. You think that's accurate?
Yeah, I had to think to Batman Forever.
Yeah. I know that was a long time ago. But I think that's kind of where they were going with Lex in this one. They're just trying to give us an updated take on him, which I think it's too early to judge, because obviously he's going to be in the actual Man of Steel sequel, which is I'm sure is gonna probably come out. I would guess after the part 2 of the Justice League, because I know next year we got Wonder Woman, and then in November will be Justice League, unless they delay it and push it back to summer 2018. Who knows? because Batman vs Superman was supposed to come out summer 2015, and it just came out now. It got pushed back a couple of times, so I guess it will depend on what other movies are coming out, because initially it was going to come out a summer of 2015. They pushed it to Christmas 2015, but they didn't want to compete with Star Wars, so they pushed it to May. And then of course Marvel drops the Civil War bomb on everybody, and they didn't want to do that opening week, so they pushed it to. That's why they moved it up to March. So hopefully, as long as everything goes according to plan, November of 2017, because I know December of 2017 we know what's coming out. Episode 8. So you know they're not going to shoot for December. So hopefully November 2017 we get to Justice League. And they did do I thought they did a pretty good job of setting it up, because they definitely can't go the Marvel route. You can't do the solo movies, because hell, Ben Affleck will be 60 years old by the time we get to Justice League. So they can't say they had to do it this way. That's what I gotta say. But I'm interested, Byron. Let me hear I want to know your take on Lex Luthor.
I like Eisenberg playing. I thought he was good. I'm a fan of his. I like he usually plays that quirky character, but he brought it. What I will say about the film, because you brought up some things too. You say you thought it was great, you loved it, and we talk about like Man of Steel too,
which I also loved, by the way.
That initially I didn't like that movie, but in hindsight, it's a great film. I just think that we're so accustomed to the movies that we grew up with. Like, imprinted in my mind is still Christopher Reeves as Superman. And so sometimes it's hard to watch something new. And then in terms of Batman, it's like the Christopher Nolan movies were so good that I struggled watching this movie at some parts, like when they showed certain aspects of like Bruce Wayne and Batman and where he lived, and I struggled with it because I'm like, man, it kind of erases that, in a sense, or tries to. I guess if you're a fan, it won't. But I was just like, man, so this is where they're going with that, And I think the Christopher Nolan one. Go ahead.
They did kind of throw us off with the opening scene, though.
Exactly.
Like the way it kind of looked like they were going Christopher Nolan-esque with the opening scene. There were a lot, like when you see it, for those who haven't seen it, it's not. I'm not going to give any, but when you see the opening scene, you're going to be like, man, they're kind of borrowing off of what Christopher Nolan did. And then right before the opening scenes end, you okay, I see where we're going.
Exactly. And I'm like,
okay, gotcha.
And even certain scenes, like, what is this about? The movie reminded me, it took some aspects of Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, and I want to say Batman Forever. It was just, at some point I was just like, what's going on? What's going on?
There's two there's like, I know some people have mentioned like the 3 comics this movie. One I'm not going to give away because it'd be a spoiler, so I won't mention that comic. But definitely, we know it's Batman versus Superman, The Dark Knight Returns. Everybody knows.
Right.
Everybody knows that. You've seen the trailers. They fight. Great scene.
Right.
The action in the movie was fantastic. And the when you watch, it was a beautiful movie to watch. But we know that about Zack Snyder. He makes beautiful films. The cinematography was outstanding. And the craziest scene to me of all, one of the most beautiful scenes in the movie, in the very beginning, like after they go and rehash the whole Metropolis thing with Bruce Wayne, they're in the Indian Ocean, and you see the shot where they're just sitting in the absolutely beautiful shot when you see one of the craft spaceships.
That was, and I don't want to give it away, but that was, I agree.
It was a beautiful shot, just the shot. I'm not going to give away what happens in the scene, but just the shot.
Here's where I struggle. I think that when Nolan, it's more realistic. Like, you could take Batman out of The Dark Knight and Harvey Dent and those fiction, those characters, and you still have an excellent movie the way it was written, because it's pretty realistic. It could be about any vigilante, not necessarily Batman. It could be a police officer, maybe something like that, and it's still a great
very,
film.
very grounded in reality.
Oh yeah, and I think this movie is leaning more toward, not leaning more, it's more like canon.
It's straight out of the comic books.
Straight
It's
out,
a comic book movie.
and that's why, and I think that's why I still, not saying that this is a bad film, a horrible film, but I still prefer the Christopher Nolan or when he was writing the Batman films. That's what I really
But he-
uh, prefer.
Here's what we got to remember, though. We haven't seen the solo Batman film yet. Obviously, it's not going to be grounded in as much reality as that, but it'll be interesting to see where they go with the solo Batman film, because I think anybody who sees this is gonna they're ready for a Batman solo movie with Ben Affleck. You know, and we'll get a little bit of more Batman and Suicide Squad.
I don't think that it needs. I felt like it was too soon for a Batman reboot.
That's why that's why they went this route, I think, because I think Warner Brothers knew they needed they couldn't wait 5-6 years to do Batman, to do a new. They had to get him out there. What better way? You put him in Batman versus Superman. He's gonna have the cameo. We've seen it in the trailers of Suicide Squad where he's on top of Joker's car. So then you got the Justice League Part 1 and 2, which my guess will all come out before the solo Batman. So you get Batman out there without actually doing a movie. So they've rebooted him without rebooting the movie yet.
I don't know, because I think it's too soon, because the Nolan movie set the bar like to the stratosphere. So I would have just left it alone for a while. That's me. I didn't think it needed a reboot. And that's my opinion. I have a friend who thinks that Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson one is better than the Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. And I'm so glad Christian Bale turned this film down. It just
it wouldn't have fit.
No,
that Batman would not have fit.
Wise enough to see that. It just would not have worked.
Was this a remember when the Green Lantern came out? Green Lantern was supposed to be the start of the Justice League, right? Remember that?
Right.
Was Christian Bale originally part of that Justice League? I don't remember. I'm thinking he was, because what was Green Lantern? That was 2010 or 2011?
I think 2010 when that came out.
Okay.
Wait. It came out the same time Inception came out, that same year. Because that summer was kind of dry. I think it might have been 2009. Because I remember no good movies had come out there.
Let me look.
I think
about having a computer. Green Lantern was June 17th, 2011.
Okay, I'm way off.
Really only about a year. That's not that bad. I guess then Christian Bale would have been part of it.
I guess so.
Originally, but I don't know how that would have worked. And at that time, 2011, we already knew they were doing Man of Steel, Henry Cavill. That's what we got to touch on. We have not touched on Superman in this movie. We've touched on everything but Superman. A lot of people, I read, if you look at I would recommend everybody check out Superhero News. Go subscribe to him on YouTube. Shoe Collector put me onto him a couple days ago. Outstanding stuff. But the one, and they're the three guys, and two of them are big Superman fans, and they didn't like the portrayal of Superman in the movie. Now, I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword in a sense, because we all know, that was kind of everybody's problem in Man of Steel. You've seen Man of Steel, Pete. I'm assuming. Yeah. So everybody complained, and this was the thing. Let me go back to Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. I actually enjoyed the film, but the complaints by a lot of the fans, we want Superman to fight. We want more action in these Superman films, right? So we get Man of Steel, and action was all over the place, and people complained about it. Now, I get the whole 9/11 reference things. I can understand that. I think Zack Snyder probably took it a little too far with that, with the destruction of Metropolis and stuff. And then, of course, the big one, when he snaps General Zod's neck at the end of the movie. Superman can't kill. Superman can't kill. Horse shit. If Byron will remember, Superman 2, did Superman not kill General Zod in Superman 2? He killed him. He kills General Zod in Superman 2. And that was the happy-go-lucky Boy Scout Superman.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Well, he
what,
was.
like, Pete, this, you could give us this. What were you, like, what did you think of the Superman, you know, how they portrayed him in Man of Steel?
Well, in Man of Steel, I mean, you know, at the end he was reluctant anyway to kill
Yeah.
Zod. But I mean, for me, I mean, it's kind of something he had to do, so to speak. So
Yeah.
for anybody that complains about it, it's like you're going to get it either way. Kind of, you know, you have fans that are going to be against it and fans that are for it. So, I mean, I was okay with it. I thought it
Yeah.
was one of the, better. But I mean, of course, for me, the Christopher Reeves Superman were kind of what I grew up on. So a
Yeah.
little bit partial to that. So it was different, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I always to me, Man of Steel was the Superman that a lot of people have always wanted. Like
Yeah.
now, I don't think they gave and maybe it's because they're not really like the movie studio. Maybe they're not too high on the acting chops of Henry Cavill at this point, and that's why kind of if you look, he didn't really have a lot of lines in Man of Steel. You know what I mean? So I'm
Right.
wondering if kind of that's why, but I didn't have, and I loved how for the first time we got a Superman that they treated as an alien.
And right there, I'm gonna cut in right there because people didn't like his portrayal in this movie, but without spoiling it, I liked it because it showed different aspects of him. Whereas in the first one, you see it more as an alien. In this one, you see like more about his personal life, you know, and that's why I like how he was portrayed in this one. You know, it's like I really believe it's setting us up for something more, and they're gonna go deeper into that character. I like how in this film or in Man of Steel the relationship with that he has with Lois Lane because it's different than the Christopher Reeves movies because I don't think it was revealed to her until the second or third movie.
Yeah, yeah, and she
Really
discovered right away that Clark was Superman.
she knew, and I like that because it kind of has that Mary Jane Watson, Peter Parker, Spider-Man type of feel to it. So I like how they did it. It's like we get it, Man of Steel. He's an alien. We get it, you know. And like I said, initially I didn't like that movie. I really like Superman Returns. I thought that one was good. I don't understand why people hated that one, but I like how in Man of Steel they show you what he has to go through and that he's really not a being. He's an extraterrestrial, and how he has to tune everything. You know, how he's so sensitive to everything that's going on. His senses are heightened. It's like he has to tune out all the voices and all the things that he hears. You know, and he's learned to do that. So I like how they portray that.
And you know what people got to remember that I don't think gets mentioned enough. Man of Steel, he's just finding out like these powers he has. He's not a veteran Superman. Even in this movie, it's 18 months after the events of Man of Steel. He hasn't even been Superman for 2 years. And we expect this guy to be, you know, Christopher Reeves Superman. He's still makes, and you'll see, even in the movie you'll see where you'll see the mistakes that he makes. Is, you know, he's not a veteran Superman. You know, so I think people have to take that into consideration with a lot of the things that he does. That you're like, well, that's not Superman. Well, because this is a young Superman. You know, you know, we got. It's interesting because we get and I like that they made Lex Luthor young. Because now, as we go up to these Superman movies, Lex and Superman can keep, you know, growing.
It'll build the storyline.
Exactly. Instead of Lex Luthor being 50 years old and Superman's, you know, just starting out. Now, I like what they're doing with Batman, having him an older Batman, because he is, I will say, he is a savage in this movie. It is the most brutal Batman we have ever seen on the big screen. Like, and I'll say it, and a lot of people have. This is the best cinematic Batman we've had. Like, just a lot of his movements. Oh,
you're spoiling the film now.
No, that's not spoiling. He's a savage. He's a savage. I didn't give away anything. He's a savage.
Hey guys, real quick. I just want to bring up. We got Sam I am in the chat. And
Nice.
just to kind of chime off of what you guys said, said the movie was a plot with a lot of subplots that I missed when I saw the credits. I was like, where was this and that? Then he went on to say, I love it. I loved that it was long, but if you don't pay attention, and I did, but still the subplots and sneaky cameos will get past you. What do you guys think of that?
Let me speak because I've seen it twice. I saw it for the second time today, and there were some things I missed the first time that I saw the movie, and that was Thursday night, and I just saw it this afternoon, and that's definitely true. There's definitely a lot going on in this. Like I mentioned, like when I said, like it's like a bunch of movies in one. You got a Batman movie, you got Superman. Basically, you almost got a Lex Luthor movie. Then you got Lois Lane. Then you got the Justice League thing set up. So there is a lot going on, and I think this is a movie that you will have to probably see at least a couple times because there is a lot going on. And here's the crazy thing: that's when the director's cut comes out, it's going to be 3 hours long and rated R. So that I think is going to be really interesting because I mean, obviously, I can see after watching the movie where they could go with an R rating, but there's obviously stuff left out, and and maybe this is just wishful thinking, but we've seen the trailer. We know they show the Robin suit. We know he was killed. Tim Drake was killed by the Joker. Will they put that scene in the director's cut? Is that why the movie has a rated R director's cut?
Hey, we got a new guest in here, Sam. What's up, man? We got our man Sam I Am.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going? How y'all doing?
All right, man.
Oh, man, we're good.
Hey, I know you saw the movie, Sam. I want you to chime in.
Well, I was excited to see the movie. I am very excited. Everybody has a different views. My view, I thought it was an exciting movie. But like I was saying in the chat room, it's a movie that has a plot with a lot of subplots. And if you're not really paying attention, it'll easily pass you by. Like prime example, I don't want to give any spoilers, but when the credits were rolling by, I was like, "Where is it? I didn't see this. I didn't see that. I didn't see this." I'm like, "Where were they at?" And I'm like, Meek Mill just said, you might have to go see it again, and maybe 2 or 3 times just to. Okay, all right, now I get it. But first time around, it's just like, oh damn.
You know what I found out the second time seeing it? Jimmy Olsen is in this movie. Yes. And even I kind of read up on it a little bit too, and I caught it the second time. They don't really mention his name, but it is him. I don't want to give away the scene. He's not in it.
I think I know what scene you're talking about.
It's in the very beginning. It's in the very beginning after the Metropolis scene, for the most part. He is in the movie, and Zack, like I read just to check on it. I read, and Zack Snyder confirmed that it was him.
Right. Now, like
It's
another thing. Oh, I ain't even cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done. Go ahead.
No, like in the first scene, and it's never really explained. Like, who was the person Superman was battling when everything happened, when it first began? Because if you notice, Superman's battling somebody. And that's what causes all the hate and discontent. That's why, I'm giving a spoiler away. That's why our boy really, that's what, the implosion happens and the guy gets his, legs.
Yeah. It's hard
not to talk about it.
And I think that what's really going to happen is this. He might be doing a Tarantino on us. Because what they might do with the sequels is fill in those gaps and answer those questions. That's what I think that he might be doing, taking that kind of like with Kill Bill. We were like, what? Why is she slicing up Vivica? Why did she shoot Vivica? We don't really know why. And then in the second film, I'm sure I'm not spoiling. Everybody should have seen Kill Bill 1 and 2 by now. Then the second film,
I haven't.
Everything into.
He hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen
it. But don't worry about it. But don't worry about it.
Right now. Kind of like Pulp Fiction, you know what I mean? It's like Pulp Fiction is a story that's really told out of sequence, and you get it at the end. It's like you put it together, and that's what Zach might be doing to us. Like he's like, okay, I'm gonna. and we might see like clips as to how we got to that point.
I give you two. I give you two movies that goes like that. Ocean's 11.
Exactly.
And Now You See Me.
Yes.
I haven't seen that. Never saw
now
that.
you got to see that.
That's a
Byron.
damn good movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's in that movie?
Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo,
Morgan Freeman, Willie
yeah.
Harrison.
I know
Michael Caine. Yeah.
I'll probably Netflix it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they're talking about the Four Horsemen, but they're really magicians.
Yeah, that was that was a very good movie.
Matter of fact, they have a sequel coming out.
Yeah, it comes out this summer. I'm interested where they're going to go with it.
Yeah.
Because that's not the kind of movie you. But I mean, I guess they set it up at the end of it for the sequel. But I was like, when I saw them, like, where can they go with this next? But it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. And we see my man Harry Potter's in the movie.
Right.
Oh, you mean what's his name?
Yeah,
Daniel
yeah, he's in the movie. I believe he's playing the son of the guy who Michael Caine is his character. I think that's what they're doing with it.
Okay.
Yeah, because Michael Caine, he's in it. A lot of guys from The Dark Knight, from the Christopher Nolan Batman. Even though I don't think Christopher Nolan, he didn't direct this, but a lot of guys from that movie. Yeah, man. Now let me ask you this, Byron, because I know you're a tough critic. Are you looking forward to like Wonder Woman next year? Did this movie make you want to see where they're going with Cyborg and Aquaman and Flash and and the Justice League?
Well, excuse me. I think that I'll definitely go see it because there's so much to discover about her, so much to learn about her, and as it pertains to this universe of DC. So absolutely, I will go see it. And it's super hot, so that's enough.
Byron, did you catch the Chris Pine cameo?
I didn't.
Man, watch it when you see it again. When you see it again, he's in there.
Now, who's Chris Pine?
He's gonna play Steve Trevor in the Wonder Woman movie.
Oh, okay.
Now you the three of us have seen it, but man, Pete left, but I'm sure he'll jump back in a minute because we're and people watching may not have seen it, but there's a scene. There's a scene where, this ain't a fucking spoiler. Where Bruce Wayne's talking to Diana Prince, and she tells him that Lex Luthor has stolen something from her. So we know what the three of us know what he stole.
Okay.
What he stole. Look at that, and you will see. And when you see that, you'll see Chris Pine.
Okay.
I caught it the second time I saw the movie. I caught it today the second time I saw it. I was like, holy shit, they put that in there. I didn't even catch it the first time. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where they go with this, and they definitely set up who the bad guy's going to be in the Justice League. Like that, I mean, shit. If you've seen the trailers, you probably could depict. If you know DC Comics, just watching the trailer, you can see who they're going with for the big bad.
Now you said Batman is in the.
He's in Suicide Squad. It's just a cameo though. It's in the trailer. You see it in the trailer.
It's Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it's Ben Affleck's Batman. He's on in the trailer. I don't know which trailer. I think it was the first trailer where he's on top of and you can see it's the Joker's car because it's purple. So he's on the car. You can see, and I believe it's a flashback scene to how they caught Harley Quinn because we all know Harley Quinn's in the movie as well. So I think it's just how he caught the Joker and Harley Quinn. But I'm interested based on a couple trailers we've seen of Suicide Squad. I know a lot of people don't like the look of Jared Leto's Joker, but man, I think he's gonna actually do a pretty good job.
I just don't know.
See, you know what? I didn't even see the Joker in the movie. And then
not this movie, not this movie, but the trailers for Suicide Squad.
Okay, I haven't seen the trailer for that though.
Oh, you gotta watch the trailers, man.
Yes.
Like Joker, he looks like he's gonna be more. Man, I think he looks like he's gonna be. I hate saying this, but man, it looks like it's gonna just be a combination of Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger's Joker.
But you know what though? If quiet as it kept, you know who would have made a great Joker?
Who?
The guy that played Lex Luthor.
Jesse, yeah. Yeah.
He
He
made a
probably
great